Hi, this is Michael from Giotto Imaging Supplies coming to you with something a little different. Many of you know me as the dye sublimation guy. Well, today I'm going to be working with a very different imaging process. We're going to be using white toner printers with our trim-free dark paper to do a process that some people like to call powderless DTF. It's not really powderless DTF, but it does have some similarities in the way that it works and in the results that you get. So let's take a look at it, shall we? We start with a piece of film similar to this, and we run this film, in this case, through our Uninet 560. It's a white toner laser printer, and out we get this. The next step is to try and get the powder onto the back, and that is with what we call the B sheet. So this is the A sheet, this is the B sheet. And what you're trying to do is you are trying to get the bottom or the back of your image. So when you're looking at it like this, should be easy to read. When you're looking at this way, should be mirrored, and you're supposed to give yourself just a little tear area at the corner there, as long as your image is covered by your B sheet, so that you have some way to separate them and a place to start your pull. Okay, so once you've got that set and ready, and it doesn't take as long as it takes for me to say it, put that down on your press. Now today we're going to be using the X-Tool heat press. It's a new heat press that many people have seen and have gotten really excited about. I quite like it. It's not an industrial press. There's some parts on it that, just don't work the same way. There's a little more wiggle in it, and you can see it's also quite light. But while it is not an industrial press, in terms of presses in its class, so that's the electrical heat presses, it's actually quite good. I'm really excited to use it, and one of the things I really enjoy about it is that you can control the pressure on it, and when you put it to its maximum pressure setting, there's some pressure there. The other thing I really like about it is that the heat platen itself has actually got more sources of heat within the platen, which allows for a better heat distribution across the entire thing. And that's a really amazing feature as well. So for today, what we're going to be doing is 310 degrees Fahrenheit for 120 seconds at the maximum pressure setting this thing is capable of. If you're using an industrial press, hey, listen, you're going to want to make sure that your manual pressure setting is basically at the maximum, the heaviest that you can do, because that is an important part of this process. So here we go. We're going to slide that in again, 310 for 120 seconds, 310 Fahrenheit, maximum pressure. Hit play. We'll wait for that to take and see you in about 120 seconds. About 5 seconds left. You'll notice I am wearing gloves. This is actually quite hot. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is a little wipe down. Okay. This wipe down with a little bit of pressure just helps make sure that everything is adhering and is going to be ready to separate the way it's supposed to. Alrighty. Okay, see, that's hot. Really glad I have my gloves on. Okay, so the next step is to peel. Okay, that's why I've left my little spacer there between the two corners so that I can go back here. I can get to that edge and, oh, look at that, how nicely that's beginning to peel. Now you want to come back. And you want to have a nice steady peel. You don't want to rush it. You don't want to rip them apart, right? You'll notice that I've got a nice clean edge. The image itself is actually made to look like it's one of those things that comes off a different style of t-shirt where it's almost faded. But there you go. And now you've got a nice powdered image at the back. Essentially, that's what that is. That's what's going to adhere it to your t-shirt. So I'm not going to spend too much time worrying about my positioning on this. I'm not making this for production purposes as much as to show you. So one of the rules of thumb is something like 2 fingers from the collar is where your usual placement might be for a larger image. For something a little thinner like this, you might want to drop it down a little bit further, right? So that it's not like right up here necessarily, but perhaps a little bit further down, right? And this one is actually made or meant to be slightly skewed. So you line your thing up, use some parchment paper just on the top. We'll be using that again for the second press. Here we go. Now this time, I'm not changing the temperature, but I am changing the amount of time. This time I only need 30 seconds. I'm not going to bother changing it on here. High pressure, same heavy pressure for the adherence. But this time with 30 seconds, I'm just going to watch the clock. And when I get to my 30 seconds, I'll hit pause on here. It'll pop back up and I'll be able to take it out. No need to go and mess with changing of the time. As easy as that actually is. It's very easy to change your time on this, and temperature on this, but why bother? As you can see, we're almost there already. 30 seconds is nothing compared to 120. And there we are. So, I don't want to get in too big a rush here and go ripping this thing off while it is still hot. I need to let it cool. So, there's a couple of tricks to cooling it. One of them is to do something like grab a piece of flat aluminum or metal or something else and just rub it across over like this. And what happens, of course, is the aluminum absorbs the heat, which is really nice, makes that cooling process faster. The other thing you could do is, if you have, like me, a big old cold platen, because this thing isn't running right now, and you just drop that down on it, well, that's going to cool it in no time flat. So, just in a few ways. Doesn't work for large production runs because eventually your aluminum's going to just stay hot, or your platen's going to warm up to the point where it's not cooling anything. But the next step is the peeling step. Now, when you're peeling, a couple of things. The first thing is you want to make sure that you're always peeling from your strongest edge. Whatever your strongest edge looks like, that's the part that you want to have the first point of tension. I'm going to choose this the top corner here. The other is you want to curl this lip over and pull towards you along the surface rather than pulling up and away. That's a mistake I made the first time I did it, right? So pulling like this, getting to that point, and oh, you just very satisfying sound as you can feel it peeling off the film. Wonderful. Oh yeah, very satisfying sound. Oh wow. All right, and as we look at our film, we can see nothing's left on there. So, last step. Oh, you can see we've used this shirt before. You can see that there's a little bit of marking there, but that was just from us having used the shirt before. It's a test shirt. So the next step is the final press, the securing press. And the idea behind this is that you put it in here for just a few more seconds under pressure, just in order to really, clamp it down, if you will, to ensure that you have the adhesion. So for this, I'm going to reduce my pressure a bit. Oops. Yeah, I'm going to reduce my pressure a bit. Leave the temperature. Temperature's fine. But what I would like to do is only get it in there for about 5 seconds. This is not a long process. You don't need this to be on there for a long time. But you do just want to sort of give it that extra. So again, down for 5 seconds. Let's make it 10 just to be sure. Safer than sorry, right? Always the way to go. And then just peel back that parchment paper. And what I really like about this last part of the process is that it also gives you more of that texture feel of it being part of the shirt rather than something on top of the shirt. Really helps it embed. That's the word I was looking for earlier. Really helps it embed itself in the shirt. Like the design, love the results. As I said, this little round bit that you see here is just because it was a test shirt that we've been using on for other things. But as you can see, a very nice alternative to dye sublimation or to DTF, if that's, out of your price range or not something that you're interested in, using. And it has those advantages like DTF, where it doesn't matter if it's cotton, doesn't matter if it's polyester, doesn't matter if it's a light shirt or a dark shirt, you're still going to get great results. Love this process, wonderful results. I'm Michael with Giotto Imaging Supplies. If you have questions, if you're interested in this product or any of of our other processes or equipment or whatever, let us know. Always happy to help. Until then, usually say happy sublimating, but I guess happy lasering may be more appropriate this time. Until then, be well.